I'd now like to invite representatives from Lewis and Clark to come forward. We have several individuals. I'll ask Mr. Vance to coordinate that. You're all welcome to grab a chair and come forward. Please be as concise as possible, and I'll try to manage the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pastor. First, to speak will be Ronald Reagan, who is chair of the board of Lewis and Clark College.
I am here as chair of the board of Lewis and Clark College. And first of all, let me thank you for giving us this opportunity to chat with you for a few minutes about something that is of really tremendous importance to our college and to all the people who are there, the students, the faculty, and the staff as well. There probably has been, during the last 2 or 3 or 4 months, no item of conversation on campus higher in the list of priorities than the possible loss of public transportation between the city and the college on weekends. Unfortunately, our college doesn't close at 6 o'clock on Friday. We have 1,200 students who live there and need to have transportation back and forth. We have faculty who do a lot of their work at the college on weekends. We have 2 graduate schools, and many of the students work during the day, and so it's in the evenings and on weekends that they come out to the college and do their homework and so forth. In the law school, they research in the library and work of that kind. So access to downtown is just extraordinarily important to our college. The college is a major player in downtown activities of various kinds. It would be almost impossible for us to continue to play that role if we don't have access on 7 days a week between the college and downtown Portland. I'm sure that there is a time in the near future when probably representatives of TriMet and representatives of the college should and will sit down and discuss more comprehensively times and days and locations, routes, and all kinds of things to be certain that whatever is worked out is in the best interest of both TriMet and the college. But in the meantime, it would be a near disaster for us to lose access to Portland on weekends. And I'm not going to give you a lot of facts and figures because I'm going to introduce our president, Tom Hostetler, who will speak to you more about some of the details involved. Tom?
Thank you, Ron. With such an eloquent board chair, there's not a whole lot left for me to say. It is tremendously important to our students and our faculty and our staff to have access to downtown Portland and to the rest of Portland. We have a community of about 4,000 people out at Lewis and Clark. We are a densely concentrated community, and getting access to the rest of the city via public transportation is absolutely essential to us. We have 1,200 students, as Ron said, who are currently living on campus. They come downtown. We have between 500 and 700 students whom we know commute on the weekend into the central part of the city, and having that access is, as he says, absolutely critical. I would also point out that Lewis and Clark students are very much a part of this city. You see on the back of our shuttle bus that we contribute through our students 145,000 hours of service. Those students come downtown, they visit the high schools, they go to the homeless shelters, they participate in mentoring programs throughout the city. Much of that takes place on the weekend. And so cutting back the TriMet 39 route on the weekends is going to be, for those students, potentially catastrophic in terms of their internships, their learning opportunities, the mentoring that they can do. And I think I would suggest that it's also a loss to the city, that not being able to participate in those kinds of ways diminishes their contribution and diminishes the opportunities. The alternatives, of course, are to get in cars and come downtown, and that's something that we are reluctant to do. It's something we're reluctant to encourage our students to do. We have very limited parking on campus, about 1,200 parking spots on campus right now, and we don't want to increase that. We think that that would be ecologically inadvisable and irresponsible so that anything that we can do to protect that Route 39, I think is good for Lewis and Clark, and more importantly, it's good for Portland. Carl can give us a little bit more information about the actual ridership. Carl?
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, Tom, for those comments in support of continuing route number 39. This is a topic that I've spoken to the board about previously and with staff at some length in the past, and we welcome the opportunity to continue that dialogue. Lewis and Clark is willing to subsidize the TriMet program to continue operating bus service to campus, but we feel strongly that a key part of that is that we need this direct route from Lewis and Clark to downtown. Our problem with the line 39 and the reason for its low ridership is that it only goes to Hillsdale, and then a transfer is required to get downtown. Most of our students and staff and faculty don't in fact live downtown. They live out in the community. We have detailed data on where everyone is commuting from. We can share that with TriMet staff and do an analysis of that. But right now, to get to the college requires at least one transfer, if not two transfers, and the time required for that commute extends beyond what is reasonable for most of our staff. So that's why we have in the past operated this private shuttle bus, which we are hoping to get rid of and take the dollars that we are spending on that project and support public transportation, which is what our community wants, our students want, our faculty want, and the local residents in the Collinsview Neighborhood Association desperately want. They don't want the college's bus service, private bus service, to terminate public bus service in the area and eliminate an opportunity for them to have access to downtown. The parking situation has been described is really a challenge for us. We live in an area of Portland that is not well served by public transportation, and yet we also have severe parking restrictions. Students, faculty, staff, visitors cannot park outside the campus boundaries. They're restricted from parking on local streets. We have 1,290 spaces with 3,000 to 4,000 people on campus every day. We must have public transit bringing people back and forth, or else our campus cannot function. So we really appreciate your willingness to listen to us and hope that we will not cancel the 39 service on the weekends, and will discuss some way to get direct service between Lewis and Clark and downtown.
I'm going to ask the general manager to comment on this particular item. You present your case very well.